Hey, good afternoon, everybody. We are here at Fort Wilderness, the Disney Fort Wilderness sites, just outside of Magic Kingdom. And the nice thing about being at Fort Wilderness, not only do you have different sites, different loops, different decorations this time of the year, but you also see just about every type of rig out there that you could imagine. So we figured we'd put a quick video together and just go out and do some looping and take a look at any Super Cs that might be available to look at all the loops here in Fort Wilderness. So this video is just going to show different types of rigs, from truck chassis, you know, from the Cascadia chassis, the M2 chassis, the S2 RV chassis, F-Series chassis, and there's even a few oddities that we've seen out here. So hope you enjoy this video. It's going to be quick. Not a whole lot of Super Cs out here that we've seen so far the last couple days, but that's the typical Super C market, right? We simply do not have the coverage that A's have, and then obviously travel trailers and fifth wheels and even B vans. So hope you like this. Right after the intro, we'll get started and show you the different Super Cs. If one of these belong to you, chime in, give us a comment, a like, and subscribe.
On the open road, where dreams unfold, adventure calls, a story to be told. With every mile, our spirits soar, freedom song forevermore. Super C child adventures on the go, through the hills and valleys, don't you know? With laughter and love, we're all so free. A journey shared, just you and me. Heather by my side, Herbie and Bugsy too. Together we chase skies of endless blue. In our RV, a home on wheels. Every turn, a new world reveals.
All right, everybody, we're out doing a little looping during the daytime, and we're going to do something a little bit different here at the fort. So you see everything in the fort, from folks that are car camping and tent camping all the way up to the multi-million-dollar diesel pushers. But we're Super C people, so we're going to do a video on Super Cs here at the fort. Now, it's an ever-changing landscape, so this is a sleepy Monday afternoon, a little bit of a slow time between this past weekend and this upcoming weekend, when we have some getting more and more people in for Christmas. But I know there's a lot of Super Cs out there right now, and we're going to go out and take a look. Probably miss a few of them, but it's not on purpose, so I'll take you along. Right now we are in the 1200 loop, and there's not a Super C to be seen here in the 1200 loop. When we first got our first Super C, they were few and far between, but as time goes on, we're seeing more and more Super Cs on the road, in the campgrounds, talking to more and more people that either have them or want them, for a lot of reasons. You got the hauling capacity, the towing capacity, easier to drive, all those reasons. So let's go out on a search and see what we can find for Super Cs. All right, we left the 12 and 1300 loop and didn't find any, so we're now in the 1100 loop and into our first Super C. So this is a Tiffin Allegro Bay. I don't know much about the Tiffins, but I believe up until 2026 they only built on, well, they still only build on a Freightliner chassis, but I believe they only had the 38 footers until the 2026s, and now they come out with a 34 footer, or at least they say it's 34 foot. It's probably about 35. So that's our first one. We'll see what we can find. Here's a Ghost. Looks like it's a 36-foot Ghost, so a Nexus Ghost. If you follow the channel and you guys know me, you know that I'm a fan of Nexus. It's mostly because of the people at Nexus, but the Ghost is their top of the line Super C. So this one has opposing slides in the front, which tells me, and based on the front end, tells me it's a 25 Ghost, because I think it was 25 where they had opposing slides in the front, and then it's got a smaller slide in the back. It looks like a 36 foot Ghost. So we went through the 900 loop and 1000 loop and didn't run into any, but here's a Verona. Talked to these folks yesterday. I want to say, we did talk to them, really nice people. I thought they said they were from Texas, but and then moved out here to Florida. But in any case, they wanted this Verona because it was on the smaller side, shorter side, because they do a lot of camping in state parks. But really nice Verona. Here, I catch this one. So, where are you guys from?
Kentucky.
Okay, where at?
Louisville.
Nice rig.
Thank you.
Have a good. All right, we're in the 800 loop, and we're coming up on our first Cascadia chassis Super C. So it's a Renegade XL. It looks to be about 40 foot. That's really pretty though. Love the paint colors. Everything about that's really nice. So, or that's an Explorer. I'm sorry, I thought it was an XL. It's an Explorer on a Cascadia chassis. Coming up on another Super C here. I don't know who these folks are, but they obviously must live relatively local. And the reason I say that is they were in the same loop as us when we were down here for Halloween. So they are in the 800 loop. This is Renegade on a Cascadia chassis, and that there would be, I don't know if that's a classic or if that's an XL, but they must be local because they're here quite a bit. I've seen that Super C numerous times. Here's another one, this Inception. Now, these folks have been here as long as we have been, but this is a sister Super C to our Pasadena, so this is the Inception. All right, we're headed back into the quad loops, 16, 17, 18, and 1900 loops, known as the quads. So we'll see if we find anything back here. I imagine we'll find a couple anyhow. So continue our hunt for Super Cs. Actually, we got into a couple of them here. So we got a Valencia here, which is a Renegade, and then so that's on the S2 RV chassis is the Valencia. Very similar to what we have, but really, really nice as well. So hopefully you can see that. And then right next to it is on the M2 chassis is the Verona. So the Verona is going to step up as far as chassis size, not necessarily engine size. You can get same engine in the Verona, but most of them will option the bigger engine compared to the Valencia. The Valencia is only the ISB 6.7. And the Verona is going to most likely be bigger than that, but it's an option. So both Renegade units, and then Renegade obviously steps up above that. Renegade and probably Dynamax have the largest fleet in Super Cs. Renegade's been doing it probably longer than Dynamax. I think Renegade's been building Super Cs and probably 30 years now. I don't think Dynamax has been around that long. I'm sure they've been around, I think, 20. Most everybody else is going to be within the last 10 to 15 years in the Super C segment, and more so even in the last 5 years with some of these manufacturers. Thor being one of them, Tiffin being one of them, Newmar being one of them, especially the smaller Newmars, are all going to be in the last 5 to 6 years. You get Nexus. I think Nexus has been around now about 15 years. And they got a pretty large selection of Super Cs as well. So different price points, but Renegade's probably been around the longest. They've kind of morphed from their, from a racing standpoint and car haulers into the Super C market. And like I said, they've been around now for 30 years. Here's another one. Here's a Seneca right here. Seneca's been around for a while. I'd say that that was the first. Jayco was that Seneca there, and they have since grown into, I think, at least 4 different or 5 different Super C models. So that Jayco is in the 1900 loop, and we'll check out these other two. So again, just Super Cs are unique. You don't see them a whole lot. That's why we decided to do this video and see what's out there. Now here's one. I didn't expect to see this. I couldn't even tell you what it is. It's absolutely Super C. It is different. It is unique. It is cool. I don't know what it is. but they're out of Illinois, so they've come a long way. It's got some type of utility box on the back of it. They back up into a nice site. That's neat. So again, Super C is going to be anything that's on a heavy-duty chassis, and that one looks like it's maybe home built, but it's different. I like it. Here we got a Greyhawk XL. This is going to be on probably the F550 chassis. Again, those are considered a Super C on a heavy duty. Not necessarily has to be a diesel any longer. There's a few new players in the market that are building on a 550 chassis with a gas motor. So, I think it was the Aspire that we looked at in Hershey. We really liked it a lot. So that's still considered a Super C because of the chassis it's built on. So anybody that tells you it has to have a diesel, they're crazy. At the end of the day, it's the chassis that's built on. Doesn't need to have air brakes, doesn't need to have a diesel, doesn't need to have any of that stuff. It needs to fit your lifestyle and what you want and what you like and what you're paying for, because ultimately that's the end game is, what are you happy with? So due to the fact we're losing daylight quick, we're going to skip past the smaller loops, assuming that there's no Super Cs in there. So we're in a 300 loop here. We're going to run up against our first Super C here. This looks to be a Dynamax based on, so it's a Europa. You don't see those in a solid color like that, but they got that listed as the Doom Buggy, which they're obviously Disney fans. But a solid color Europa, I don't see those too often. So really nice units as well. Europa is relatively new. A new platform. It's I believe the new Europa, the 2026, is actually coming out on the S2 RV chassis. That one there. Let me back up here. So this is on the M2 chassis, but like I said, the 2026s are built on the S2 RV chassis, and the rest of the Dynamax group is going to be on the M2 chassis like this one is, and then they are also on the Cascadia chassis. As a matter of fact, Dynamax is coming out now, or reintroducing the Grand Sport that's on the Cascadia chassis, and it's absolutely amazing. And but it's got a pretty steep price tag as well. Yeah, I just misspoke a few minutes ago. I was talking about this Europa from Dynamax and how it's moving over to the S2 RV chassis, and it's going to be the smallest Dynamax. And again, I misspoke, and what made me think of that is we went by and they were setting up, so I really didn't want to stop, but the Izettas are on the Ford chassis. So I don't want to get in these folks' way, but so I'm just going to back up and take a real quick look at it here. But these are built on the Ram chassis, and then they switched to the Ford chassis. So this is another Super C that you don't see out there a whole lot. But this is the Izetta 5, and then the Izetta 6 series is going to be built on the Ford chassis. So it's really long, they're really nice, but again, they're switching from Dodge to Ford. Almost passed up this Renegade here. It's kind of hidden back there, so can't really see it. Let me see if I can duck in here real quick and just get a quick view of it. Hanging out with their pups here. So this actually might be a toter. I don't think it is. It looks like it might have a garage in the back. That's the only reason I say that. So that's the other thing Renegade's going to do that not everybody else is going to do, is you can have a garage in these. I think some of the hallmarks, which you don't see very often, and some of the show haulers, which you don't see very often, they're going to have garages in them. So that's something to look forward to if you're looking for that. And to be honest with you, now that we've gone through just about every loop, we've got 300 and 400, or no, 400 and 500 loop, and then the 1400 loop where we're at. So though the Super Cs aren't very prevalent in the market compared to your A's and your regular C's, obviously fifth wheels and bumper pulls, we've seen probably every manufacturer here at the fort right now, with the exception of Hallmark and show hauler. I think we've seen something from every other manufacturer. So it's nice to see them out there. So here's another Seneca, and it's a little bit newer model from the one that we just saw just a few minutes ago. Again, another one on S2RV chassis. It looks like they bought this one from La Mesa. And I don't know much about La Mesa, but I know that they do move a lot of Super Cs. So another Jayco. Now I say, you know, we saw most of the manufacturers. I don't know if we've seen the Integras anywhere. There's been some here. I can't remember if we've seen them on this video, but the Jayco and the Jayco Seneca and the Integras, the Accolades are sister coaches to each other. So the Integras are going to be a little bit more of a step up, especially I think it's the Integra XL. They're going to have a higher finish and carry a higher price tag too. Just a new addition to the Super C category that pulled in here at the fort. So this is a Lineage by Grand Design. Toured these a few different times. Mike Hums is the designer for Grand Design. He's done a nice job with the Lineage F Series and the M Series before this, which was not part of the Super C program, but the F Series is. So they built this on a 600 chassis, and they're really nice. And the slides, the slide mechanisms on these are a little bit different. They use the True Track, but they're much deeper. So when you pull these in, they're a little tight on the inside, but when they're out, man, they do a nice job and give you a whole lot of room on an F Series chassis. Here's another Verona. It's kind of hidden a little bit because of the spot that it's in the golf cart, but really pretty paint job on that. But Newmar doesn't, or I'm sorry, Renegade does a nice job with their paint. So Verona out of Maryland. So if that's you guys, nice coach. All right, we're in the last loop. We're in the 1400 loop, and like I said, there's quite a few Super Cs here. So we got ourselves another Verona. Looks like this is 40-footer, a Verona here, and coming up on my left-hand side is there's an XL. Yeah, directly in front of us is probably the biggest. This is the biggest Super C that I've seen here. So this is we talked to this guy a little bit earlier today when we walked by. A really nice coach. They're out of Colorado, so. Nice way to travel if you're coming all the way from Colorado all the way here to Florida. Very nice. So this is our tour of Super Cs. Let me get this over here. Tour of Super Cs at the fort, at least for now. Again, the landscape changes at the fort all the time. But if we might be able to add to this video and see what else shows up this week. So if you're in this video, give us a shout out. Post this in a couple different places, obviously on our YouTube channel, which is primarily about our Chow Chows and Super Cs, but all RVing all together. And then I'll also post on Facebook. There's a couple of Super C channels on Facebook. We'll get this posted out there. So if one of these rigs are yours, holler out. If you are a Super C fan, if you own one, want to drive one, just give us your thoughts. Put a comment down below on what your thoughts are. For anybody that wants a Super C, I can tell you this, they are by far the easiest RV outside of maybe a B van. They're very easy to drive. They got great towing capacity, great storage capacity. So if you're a fan and if you have one, let us know what you have. Post a picture if you want. I'd like to see what you got out there. So we're finishing up. We're in the last part of the 1400s, which is where we're at. So we'll finish up with our coach here. And then this is the last one next to ours, or right down the road from ours. Let me turn this around. So this is the Integra Esteem, and this is again on the 550 chassis. I believe that to be a diesel, but again, I'm not 100% sure on that one because, like I said, there are a few coach makers that are building those with on the 550 chassis with a gas motor. So, and then we're going to pull in, and this is us here. And as you can see, we go a little extreme on the decorations, but so this is our Super C. This is our Pasadena. We've had this one. Picked it up in April. This is our second one, though we had ordered 3. This is the one we have now, and we'll see how long we're going to stay in this one. We really, really like it, and before too long, we'll take you for a tour on the inside as well. So it's not the biggest one out there. It's not the smallest one out there. But one thing I will say about Super Cs is you can get in every segment that you want, from very, relatively small to very big, every price point. There's always going to be coach envy. It doesn't matter if you're in a Super C, if you're in an A pusher, an A gas, fifth wheel, bumper pull, B van, tent, doesn't matter. There's always going to be some envy. At the end of the day, you got to do what makes you happy, buy what you want, drive what you want. And the only one that you got to make happy is the person making the payments on it. So hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Until next time, ciao.